A very prominent trait of the devil is to ban freedom of speech. Why is that? Because the devil deceives the whole world. And with deception, you can't have somebody coming along unraveling that deception and giving you the truth. See, because there's only a few people that have really gone totally on the side of the devil, who have committed the unforgivable sin, and there is no way back for them. Relatively few, I don't know how many. But the great majority are deceived. The devil that deceives the entire inhabited earth. So he restricts freedom of speech because he is quickly exposed by reason. And people love reason, you know. We were created in the image of God. That means we need reason. All these despotic rulers, they don't want reason. They don't allow reason. They just, that's that because I told you. And that's the end of the argument, you know. Now, Paul mentioned that some people have to have their mouths shut because all they do is evil. In other words, they'll just waste your time taking you around in circles, and you can't convince these people because they are intentionally evil, and that's what they're doing. I don't care if they say they're church-going people. There's plenty. That's where they like to go in the religions. They've inhabited all the churches and religious organizations. Now, in the first century, all the apostles, they fled from Jerusalem and began preaching in the entire inhabited earth as Jesus commanded them to do. That's how John ended up in the Isle of Patmos. Thomas traveled extensively into India and other places. They didn't sit around. Well, the Jews, they had such hatred for the truth that they would not allow the apostles to speak. They killed the brother of John, who was James, with the sword. They killed Stephen. And on and on. We don't read about the other apostles in the Bible, but they would often come back to Jerusalem for the Passover. And sometimes they didn't know the amount of hatred the Jews had for the disciples of Jesus Christ. And many of them were martyred in Jerusalem, coming back for the Passover. They didn't have internet communication like we do today. But they all did the preaching work. And there's various traditions in countries, even in Britain, Spain, Turkey, all these places that the apostles came and they preached. And many listened. And the word of God spread, you know. So beware of those that don't allow for freedom of speech, you know. There was recently, I've been banned from channels because of these people that claim that Jehovah is Satan. Now you talk about blaspheming his name, as it speaks about in Revelation, that kingdom of the beast, they will blaspheme his name, which is Jehovah, and his tabernacle, which is the temple of God, and then that dwell in heaven. Because it says in 2 Thessalonians that he will sit in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God, Satan. So you have these people already trying to lead people to the devil. Oh, Jehovah's Satan. There's no God of the Bible. We don't like him. He's Satan. That's what they're saying. See, and they say, because the Freemasons, they teach that. Jehovah's the God of all the gods, you know, this thing of Satan and Jesus being brothers, yeah. And that leaves you with nowhere to run but into the devil's arms. That's their plan. That's why they're going to ban freedom of speech. That's why they're going to require a mark in order to buy or sell. Because they don't want any competition. They can't have any competition because otherwise they'd be exposed. So that's what's coming. The martial law, the despot rulership, that's coming up. That's a part of that kingdom of Antichrist. And that's why Jesus says, flee. Flee to the mountains, you know. As it says in Ezekiel. And those that escape shall escape and shall be as doves of the valley. everyone mourning for his own iniquity. So don't be deceived by the devil. God gives knowledge if you ask for him, and you seek, you will find it. He gives abundantly, but to the fearful and the unbelieving and the abominable and those without faith and those who are disgusting in their filth, fornicators, idolaters, and sorcerers, they shall have their part with in the lake which burns with fire and sulfur.